Ben Pickering is an operations manager for Oxfam, the international aid organization. He has just returned to Islamabad, Pakistan, from the Swat Valley, where some of the worst flooding is reported. Ben, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How bad is it in the Swat Valley right now?
The situation in Pakistan in general is very severe, and the indications in Swat are a perfect example of that. Swat Valley was hit first and hardest by the flooding, which began towards the end of last month. The devastation that I have seen there on my recent trip is widespread. I have actually spoken to people whose homes were damaged, in some cases homes completely washed away by the flooding. They're sleeping outside in the open. They need food, they need clean water, medical care and shelter, not just for themselves but their families as well. It's a very desperate situation indeed.
And Ben, children specifically are really suffering here, right?
Absolutely. With all of this flooding that's gone on such a massive scale, one of the big concerns at the moment is the risk, and it's an increasing risk, of public health diseases, particularly diarrhea, which can be fatal through dehydration. Now, children themselves are incredibly vulnerable to this, and it's children as well as women in particular that Oxfam is looking to meet their humanitarian needs in this disaster.
Ben, how difficult or dangerous is it for you to get to some of these areas?
The situation in Swat Valley is very difficult at this stage. The Swat Valley saw a lot of violent conflict last year between the Pakistani military and the Taliban, which displaced many people from the area. The situation has calmed in recent months and people are returning home, but it's those people that have returned home that are now being hit by this flooding. The situation on the ground remains fluid, the security situation, and Oxfam is operating there with very clear security guidelines in where the teams can and can't go, and it has a very big impact on the scale of the programme at the moment. Having said that, we haven't had any security incidents at present, which we're very thankful for. But as I say, the security situation is fluid and can change over time.
Ben, we've seen these stories about extremists kind of moving in and trying to take advantage of the situation. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. Either through the Oxfam programme or with partners, we haven't seen anything like that.
What do you think of the international outreach so far? More aid is needed, right?
Absolutely. This is a massive disaster. Some 20 million people have been affected. 1/5 of this country is underwater. That is a massive disaster, and what is needed is a massive humanitarian aid effort in response, and we just haven't seen that. Money is coming in. Agencies are being funded, UN agencies, NGOs. That money is coming in, but it's simply not enough. The money that we have got, we're able to distribute very quickly, providing immediate life-saving assistance in terms of clean water, and other agencies providing food, medical care. Sanitation facilities is something that Oxfam is focused on very carefully. But much more needs to be done. We have agencies here on the ground wanting to provide more assistance. We just need more money.
Ben, for those folks on the ground here in the States who see what's happening but might be reluctant to send money to Pakistan for various reasons, what do you say to them?
The situation here is the worst that I have ever seen. To give you an idea, the Haiti earthquake, the Indian Ocean tsunami, and the Kashmir earthquake back in 2005, those three combined equal the number of people affected by this emergency. That gives you an idea of just sort of the scale that we're talking about here. A huge amount of funding is required to provide the sort of aid relief that is needed. I appreciate the concern over donor fatigue. A lot of aid has gone to Pakistan over the recent years, but it's the same people that I saw in my visit to Swat Valley that have been affected time and time again by different types of disasters, and each time their coping mechanisms are being reduced. That in fact, right now, more than ever, people in Pakistan need humanitarian aid.
Ben Pickering from Oxfam. Ben, good luck to you. We appreciate your work. Thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much indeed.